If this is you, you've probably been the one always reaching out first. You're the one sending the hey texts that get ignored for hours, the one checking your phone hoping maybe, just maybe, she'll care enough to reply this time. You tell yourself you're just being nice, that you're just showing effort, but deep down you feel it, don't you? That sinking feeling when you realize she doesn't value your presence the same way you value hers. Maybe this feels familiar. She used to light up when you messaged her. Now it's like every text you send pushes her further away. You replay your conversations wondering where you went wrong, why she suddenly went cold, why the person who once couldn't stop talking to you now acts like silence is a game she enjoys watching you lose. And somewhere in that frustration, a thought hits you. What if I just stop? What if I stop texting first? Stop calling? Stop chasing? You wonder if she'd even notice, yeah, or if she'd finally feel the weight of your absence the same way you've been feeling the weight of her indifference. It's a scary thought, to pull back, to do nothing, especially when every part of you wants to fix what's breaking. But what if doing nothing is the thing that changes everything? Because here's the truth. When you stop texting and calling, something shifts, not just in her, but in you. The only question is, when that silence finally hits her, how will she react? And will it be the reaction you've been waiting for? Most men get this situation wrong because they think connection comes from constant effort, that if they just keep showing up, keep proving how much they care, eventually she'll see their value. But that's not how attraction works. A woman doesn't feel drawn to a man who needs her attention. She feels drawn to a man who's centered without it. When you stop texting and calling, you're not playing games, you're returning to balance. You're pulling your energy back to where it belongs, within yourself. Most men panic when silence enters the picture because they mistake distance for danger. They start to believe if they're not talking to her, they're losing her. But the truth is, the more you chase, the more you confirm that you're not grounded enough to lead with calm certainty. Masculine energy isn't loud, it's still, it's composed. It doesn't rush to fill silence, it owns it. That's what creates polarity. That's what makes her feel you without a single word. When you stop reaching out, you're showing a deeper truth, that your world doesn't revolve around one person's approval. You have purpose, direction, and standards. You're teaching her something powerful. Your time and attention are earned, not assumed. And here's the shift most men never realize. Women respect space that's created from strength, not anger. When you stop texting from peace instead of punishment, she feels that difference. She starts to question why your energy suddenly feels unavailable, and that's when curiosity replaces comfort. So the next time you feel the urge to reach out, remember, control isn't in getting a reply. It's in mastering the silence that most men are too afraid to sit in. It's late. The room's dark except for the soft blue glow of your phone screen. You've opened her chat more times than you can count. Typing, deleting, typing again. Every few minutes you check if she's seen your story, if she's online, if there's any sign that she's thinking about you too. But the only thing staring back at you is silence. You toss the phone aside, but it doesn't quiet your thoughts. You replay the last conversation, how light her laugh used to sound, how her tone changed when she started pulling away. You wonder if she ever noticed how hard you tried to keep her close, or if she just got used to the effort and stopped valuing it. That night, something in you shifts. Not out of anger, not from bitterness, just exhaustion. You tell yourself, no more chasing, no more proving. You silence the chat, turn the phone over, and for the first time in a long while, you let the silence breathe. The next morning feels different, lighter. You start your day without checking your phone first. You get dressed, hit the gym, lose yourself in your own rhythm, and somewhere between the reps and the quiet drive home, you realize you don't feel desperate anymore. Days pass. Then one night, your phone lights up. Her name. A simple, hey. No context, no explanation. Just curiosity wrapped in 2 letters. You stare at it for a while. A small smile crosses your face, not because she texted, but because you finally understand something deeper. It was never about her reaction. It was about remembering who you were before you started chasing someone who forgot your worth. One of the biggest lies men believe is that effort automatically earns affection. You think if you just keep showing up, texting first, checking in, reminding her you care, it'll somehow make her see your value. But attraction doesn't work that way. Effort without self-respect turns into noise. The more you try to prove your worth to someone who's not matching your energy, the more invisible you become. Attention doesn't create desire, mystery does. Another false belief is that silence means loss. Most men panic when communication stops because they tie a woman's response to their sense of worth. They think, if she's not replying, I must be doing something wrong. But the truth is, silence reveals where the power has been all along. The moment you stop reaching out, you see who actually values connection and who only valued your consistency. She didn't ghost you. You disappeared from yourself. And the third lie, the most dangerous one, is believing that your presence only matters when it's validated. You've been conditioned to think your peace depends on how she feels about you. That's why the moment she pulls away, your mind spirals into what did I do wrong? But the masculine frame doesn't chase understanding, it builds it from within. You don't gain her respect by convincing her, you gain it by returning to your center. When you stop texting and calling, it's not a manipulation tactic, it's a reset. You're saying, "Fine, I choose me now." You're reminding yourself that your energy is sacred, your attention is currency, and not everyone deserves access to it. The men who struggle the most are the ones who can't sit in the discomfort of being unseen. But growth begins there, in that quiet moment when you choose strength over validation. Because here's the truth, when you stop chasing, you don't lose her, you find yourself. And ironically, that's when she starts to feel the absence she once took for granted. Your silence speaks louder than every message she ignored. The 1% headman moves differently because he understands something most men never learn. Attention isn't given, it's earned. He knows that the moment you chase validation, you hand over your power. So instead of wondering why she's not texting back, he's focused on why he's even waiting for it in the first place. This is what he understands. The man who leads himself never has to chase anyone else. When he stops texting and calling, it's not a tactic, it's not a game, it's alignment. He's not cutting her off. He's cutting off the part of himself that begged for approval. He trusts that if connection is real, it won't require convincing. And if it fades, it was never built on strength to begin with. The headman doesn't need to fill silence, he embodies it. He knows that presence isn't about words, it's about energy. This is how he leads with presence, not pressure. He makes people feel his absence because his attention has weight. When he withdraws, it's not to punish, it's to preserve. He doesn't get emotional when she pulls away, he observes. He measures her consistency against his own peace, and if it doesn't align, he walks away without resentment. Because the 1% headman's mindset is rooted in one truth. You never lose someone by standing in your worth. You only lose people who needed you to forget it. He's not playing the same game anymore. He's not chasing love through noise. He's attracting it through calm. He's built from silence, discipline, and certainty. And that's what makes him unforgettable. Not because he's unreachable, but because he's untouchable by anything that doesn't match his energy. It happens quietly, not in anger, not in revenge, but in stillness. One night, you're sitting there, phone in hand, scrolling through old messages like they're memories of who you used to be. You feel that familiar ache again, the one that comes from waiting for someone who stopped showing up, but this time something shifts. It's not sadness, it's not confusion, it's clarity. You finally see how much energy you've been pouring into someone who never filled you back. Every text you sent, hoping to feel seen, was really a cry to remember yourself. Every unanswered message wasn't rejection, it was redirection. And as that truth settles in, your body exhales in a way it hasn't in months. You put the phone down, not dramatically, not with bitterness, just peace. Because for the first time, you don't feel the urge to fix anything. You realize you were never losing her. You were losing you, piece by piece, every time you put her needs above your own self-respect. And that realization hits deeper than heartbreak ever could. You're done waiting for someone to notice your worth when it's always been yours to claim. You stand up, breathe, and in that breath, something ancient awakens. That quiet, steady strength of a man who's no longer chasing validation. You walk away from the phone, from the need to be chosen, from the story that kept you small. And for the first time, the silence doesn't hurt, it heals. Because you finally understand when you stop texting and calling, it's not about what she does next. It's about who you finally become. When you stop texting and calling, something powerful happens, not just in her, but in you. She'll feel the shift, the silence, the absence of the energy she once took for granted. She might reach out, she might not, but that's no longer what defines your peace. Because the moment you stop chasing, you stop bleeding for someone who never noticed the cut. You remembered who you are, a man who doesn't beg to be seen, but chooses to stand in his own light. The truth is simple. When you stop reaching for her, you finally reach yourself.